everybody. Wow. Yeah, it has been a long time, and I have no excuses except I was really busy. I am almost finished with college. I am 2 weeks out, and then I move up to Atlanta to start in the film industry. It's crazy, and I'm excited for it to happen. But one of the things that I have been trying to do for the past few months is upload on this channel because it really is important to me. But now that I'm going into the film industry, um, it will be harder for me to upload, but I will have more background in what the process is, and it'll be interesting to see how my viewpoint changes, because I don't think I can simply just dislike a movie anymore. And um, I know that's crazy, and that doesn't mean I can't not like a film or TV show, but it's going to be a little bit more interesting for me to take viewpoints like that and make viewpoints like that and give you guys my thoughts on movies I don't particularly love. Um, but that being said, I wanted to come back and talk about a TV show that I have been watching every week for the past 9 weeks, and that show is The Last of Us. The Last of Us is my favorite video game of all time. I was expecting a lot from this adaptation, and I was truly very excited. I always thought that Pedro Pascal was a great choice for Joel, and even though Bella Ramsey doesn't look a lot like Ellie from the game, that doesn't matter to me because she did an incredible job, and so did Pedro. They are incredible in this series, and they did justice to the characters in the video games. And then even in some scenes, I really saw them as those characters. Actually, throughout the entire series, I really saw them as those characters. They did a phenomenal job. And with that out of the way, yeah, I love this show. This show was great. It was great. Episodes 1 through 9, and sure, it wasn't as good as a game, but you can never expect things like that when going in to adaptations like this. But the important thing is that they adapted the game perfectly, and in some cases they actually made some of the source material even better, which was incredible to see. And when I say it's not as good as the game, I'd say that from like the slightest, just the slightest bit. It's not as good as the video game, but it's close. And I'm truly happy to be saying that right now because I am scared of video game adaptations. And whenever they release a series or a movie that has anything to do with a video game, I freak out a little bit because it isn't a curse anymore, but there is a history with video game products just not being very good. And so I was scared, but I went in. I leveled my expectation. I was very excited, but I had to level it somehow, and I was blown away. This show was incredible, and I think the decision to focus more on the human aspects of the video game was a great idea because as much as I love the infected and as much as the infected are still a very important part of the show, they focus a lot more on the human tragedies, the awful things that these people do to one another, and it's incredibly interesting, and they go a little more into it, and it adds just a tiny bit more that wasn't in the video game that makes you realize how just awful and lived in this world really is. And so it made me connect to Joel and Ellie even in a little bit of a deeper way. And that being said, it just, they did such an incredible job adapting these moments to perfection and adding to them, that it really, 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 really just blew me away. Could the show have been longer and they could have, added a few more things? Sure. But any show could do that. not everything's going to work in a video game adaptation. And so they cut out, I think, the right things. And so, again, I was really, really blown away by The Last of Us, and I think it does almost everything right. I think there are really no missteps in terms of episodes. People might argue that some of the moments are a little bit missteps, but I kind of disagree. I think what works in the show really, really works in the show. And if I had to nitpick anything from this series, maybe I wish there was just one more infected interaction, and that's like a nitpick. But that's it. The show is incredible, and I love just the story of The Last of Us. It's such an incredible story about healing and the meaning of being a father and the meaning of being a human and being in pain and feeling guilty for one's actions. And it's an incredible story that if none of you have seen or played, I highly suggest you do both right away, or at least one of them, because this show, unsurprisingly, is the best video game adaptation. And I recommend it to everybody who just wants a good show, because it's just a genuinely great show. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give The Last of Us an A+. I truly do not have many flaws. It was such a wonderful show to watch week by week. Excuse me. And as a massive fan of the source material, I was very impressed. Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, you guys did a fantastic job. I'm really excited for Season 2. I love Last of Us Part 2, so I'm super glad that they are adapting that game. It's going to be awesome. I know it's divisive, but the fact that they're doing this and the fact that they understand that game was the right direction to go, at least in my eyes, it was very much the right direction to go, because I don't really think there was very much to go off of after Last of Us Part 1. I'm really excited to see what they do. Maybe they'll do something different, maybe they'll do something in between. I have no idea. But we will find out in about a couple of years. And who knows, maybe I'll be working on that set. Probably not, but it's good. It's a good thing to keep in mind, you know. But anyway, guys, I'm glad to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please leave a like, subscribe, and if you have a different opinion on the TV show or the game, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next review, which I hope is very, very soon. It probably will be, because I actually have a month off in April. So